Hello everyone, this is LaVoy Finicum, One Cowboy Stand for Freedom, kind of part 2 here. What I wanted to talk about a little bit was again about some of these public land issues. Here it is, I have in my hand a Desert News newspaper and the Salt Lake Tribune, September 18th, 2014. The top article reads here, Public Land Issues Concern Utahns. Protest ATV ride results in charges against commissioner. This one here says, Fed charges canyon ride leaders for recapture canyon. After the Bundy standoff, some of these people up in Utah were really concerned that of the overreach of the government, where they shut down Recapture Canyon that had been a road and a right-of-way for ever since the pioneers moved in, and a bureaucrat decided it needed to be shut down, and they didn't want they for 7 years, I believe it was, that they've have been trying to get that the right-of-way permit to go through, and they're just sitting on it. Finally, it says, well, we're going to ride here in protest of what you're doing. Well, after the BLM was embarrassed over at Bundy Ranch, they didn't make any arrests. They just kind of sat, took names, and waited and watched. Now they're charging them. They're going to make somebody an example to show that you better not get out of line. Stay in line. Don't think you can do this, break the laws with impunity. Let me read here what it says. It says, page 4. Says Charlie Christensen, one of the, this is part of the bureaucracy that is unelected. He says that we respect the fact that citizens of this state have differing and deeply held views regarding the management and use of Recapture Canyon, and recognize that they have a right to express these opinions freely. It says, but when individuals violate the laws rather than engage in lawful protests, we will seek to hold these individuals accountable, she said. So here they are, lecturing about obeying the law when they themselves won't be governed by the law. Let me just go back a little bit and explain a little bit about how this BLM came into being. These states, as they became states, the lands were to be seceded back to the states once they moved from territory to state. Well, they quit doing that, or doing it very slowly. And finally, in 1936, they passed what was called the Taylor Grazing Act. And that's just by simple majority vote. And they created this, the beginning of the BLM, where they then say in the act that we now permit you, people on these lands, we permit you to be here, and every 10 years we'll reconsider if we want you here, and in fact anytime within that 10-year period of time we may change our mind. Well, we as the people of the United States never gave the federal government the authority to permit them to do this. They didn't have the right to permit or to take away. They were supposed to give those lands back, and then they were continuing to do it at an ever increasingly slow pace until in the 70s when they completely quit, and they just decided to hang on to these lands. 80% of Nevada, 70% of Arizona, 80% of Utah, and so they hold all these lands and they tie up all the wealth in it, and so that's the law. That's the law. Who is the legal and who's the illegal? That just because we function within this bureaucracy does not make it a legal entity. And you need to be clear on that line. It's time to put this dragon back into the box that was created for it in the beginning, because it's out of its box and it's rampaging. It knows no bounds. And again, there's good people in it, but it's illegal. It's illegitimate. And This is LaVoy Finicum, again, for One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. Thanks.